Welcome to the MARUSAN Show. I'm Eiji Kaminaga of MARUSAN Toys. Today we have a special guest from the United States of America, the president of Cat Magic Toys and tattoo artist. Please welcome Mr. DougHardy. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us today. Have a seat. So thank you for coming. So today, Doug brought his software work, Cat Magic Lulu.
Yeah, which cat?
Which cat Lulu. So today I like to talk about your software, your character Lulu, and how this was born, and also your career as a tattoo artist.
Yes.
Okay, let's start. Okay, so why this was born?
Lulu was born because of my combination of love of soft vinyl toys that I grew up with as a child, and also my love of cats. Lulu herself is based off of my cat Lulu. Around 5 years ago, I drew my cat as a little witch with a crystal ball, and I eventually thought this would be a good design to make her into a toy. And through a process of trying resin toys, and Max Toy president Mark Nagata kind of encouraging me, eventually I was able to finally produce a soft vinyl toy of Lulu.
I see. So obviously this one I can see some influence from Japanese anime.
Yes, yeah.
So how
yeah, anime and tokusatsu were very influential to me since I was a child. My father brought me back some soft vinyl toys from Japan in 1973. I was a fan of Ultraman, but when he brought me back soft vinyl kaiju, it exploded my mind. I was very influenced by the kaiju and the monsters and such, but I was also watching anime shows from the Showa era, Jungle Taisen and Mahagogogo and such. And many of the manga and comics were also a big influence on me. So the magical series was something that I was always interested in.
I see. So your first experience software was a monster software that your father brought from Japan.
Yes, it was from a Return of the Ultraman. He brought me back Kaiju Takong. And Takong was so unusual and unlike, although I liked American monsters, back then, Dracula, Frankenstein, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Takong was unlike anything I had ever seen before.
And Takong in the Return of the Ultraman, that was broadcasting in US at the time?
No, unfortunately, the original Shodai Ultraman was broadcast in America with English dubs. But I was only able to see images from Return of Ultraman. It was not brought to America. So through manga and through television magazines that my father got for me from a Japanese bookstore in San Francisco, I saw the images and liked them, but I did not know the exact stories.
I see.
It was Ultraman, but a little different. So I figured, he's the same stories. He's fighting a monster every time.
So you were born in San Francisco?
Yes. So I was born in San Francisco in 1966, and I grew up in California and Colorado. But most of my my fandom with tokusatsu was in California.
I see. So after you got the first software Takong, so after that, do you have any other software at the time?
Yes, fortunately there was a store in San Francisco a long time ago called Mikado, and they brought many toys, Sophie and Zinchron and such. So mostly the Sophie were Bullmark. I had Pegasus Seijin and many Ultra 7 and Ultraman Ace soft vinyls. And unfortunately, over time, because I played with them so hard, many of them are gone now. But
I see.
They were very influential to me. And my father was able to read a bit of Japanese, so he told me their names on their feet, so I knew their names properly. But I did not know what they did.
I see. So you had soft vinyl toys in your childhood, but almost all of it gone. And after you became adult and collect again.
Yeah, through later in my later teenage years, I got back into anime, but more of mecha anime. Macross was my era. Votoms and things like that. So many plastic models and such. And later, eventually, in the 90s, when I was in Hawaii, I started seeing more Ultraman figures and such that were being produced then. And my teacher, when I was learning how to tattoo in Hawaii in the 90s, he and I would go to an old, it's called the flea market in Hawaii, where people would bring old items out of the garage, and sometimes I would find toys. I sent you a photo a few years ago of one I found there of something from Captain Ultra, but by Orange was the manufacturer, and so I asked you, and you answered on a video where this came from. So there was a few toys like that I found and got my interest back into soft vinyl toys.
I see. So now you're producing Softby products. So could you tell me its beginning? How you begin?
I was originally. I started getting interested in making toys again because I got to know Mark Nagata of Max Toy. We both live in San Francisco, and I was a big fan of some of his figures. And I started talking with him, and the idea came to me as like, well, maybe I'd like to make a toy. My first original idea is maybe I should learn how to do resin toy first.
This one.
Yeah. And I designed her and hired a toy making sculptor friend named Tim Steffson. And he did a 3D sculpt on the computer. We made a print of that, and then I learned how to make resin, like silicone molds, and do the resin casting. And so the resin was debuted at DesignerCon of 2017. I shared a table with Mark Nagata of Max Toy. And after doing it, it was a very good learning experience, but I realized I really wanted to make Softby. Mark, he was very generous, and he introduced me to his main sculptor, Mr. Makino, TT Toy. And Makino-san and I spoke, and I redesigned Lulu to be a better conversion for soft vinyl. And he and I corresponded, and he did the original sculpture, a few minor changes, and then we got the process started. So in June of 2018 is the first vinyls were produced, and I came here for an event and got those.
I see. So so far, how many versions of the Lulu?
Right now, the first version I made was. I had her done in orange vinyl, and I did a Halloween version. So I think there was 5 versions altogether. There was the Halloween version, all black version, gold sparkle, a few colors like that. I was able to do this red one was for Wonder Festival in February of 2019, and then I was finally able to produce a Machigata multi-mold, and from that I had started having paint masks made. So this trip to Japan here in August of 2019 is the first standard color Lulu, which the Mike style, which is based on my cat Lulu, her pattern and everything.
I see. Very cute.
Thank you so much.
Very cute, and I like it.
Thank you. I wanted her to have kind of maybe early 90s feel, kind of a little bit magical girl, a little bit fantasy adventure style. There's one design I hired an illustrator to do of her in this kind of vintage like Super Famicom style, I wanted to give the feel of a old RPG or Magical Girl series.
Yes, this design reminds me like Toei anime of late 70s, 80s, something.
Yeah. I was very influenced by Toei. I watched many of their shows when I was a child, and it influenced me, maybe subconsciously, and I tried to get that feel.
I see. So from now on, you have any other idea of the making a new soft piece?
Yes, the Lulu is the first one, but I have a planned series of many characters that are all based on my pets throughout my life. Lulu, my real cat Lulu had a brother. Oh, magnets! This is another reason I wanted to go to soft vinyl. Is they're a little more durable. I have Lulu's brother. Lulu is Majo Neko, a witch. Her brother will be a forest ranger, sort of a warrior in green. Then my other younger cat, Rocket, I want to make her apprentice as a thief, and I have many characters based on the idea.
Basically, your idea of character is all cats.
Yeah, mostly one dog too.
One dog,
so, yeah. But that is future plans. So.
Oh, I see. So far, planning the other lineup of the other cats.
Yeah, I have to draw them more. Most are in my head, and I have rough. But it's just a combination of time and money to make them exist.
What is the fascination with cats?
I just like cats. I like animals. I've had dogs in the past, but being with my career as a tattoo artist, I'm at work a lot, and I go on a lot of trips. So I think it would be unfair for me to have a dog sometimes because I can't leave for the entire day. Cats, I mean, I have two pair. They can entertain themselves. I can see them morning and night. So they're a little more flexible that way.
Oh, I see.
So I just come to really enjoy them.
I see. So also your career is a tattoo artist.
Yes.
And I had kind of your family business, like your second generation of the...
Yes. Yeah. My father, Ed Hardy, he was America's first custom-only tattoo artist. He started tattooing in 1967 when I was very young, and he was fascinated with Asian art, and especially Japanese ukiyo-e style. In 1973, he came to Gifu, Japan, and lived here for 6 months, and learned a lot of techniques under a Japanese master here, Horihide from Gifu. And through that experience, he came back to America and opened the first custom-only shop. Tattoos beforehand, in America, you'd go into a shop, there's many designs on the walls, and you'd pick, I like this ship, of this. But he decided he wanted to do where you came with an idea and you worked with him, and he would draw your idea and make that into your personalized tattoo.
The custom.
Custom, work, which was the norm in Japan, but in America it was not. So in 1974, by opening that shop in San Francisco, he opened the world of tattoo to the idea of you can get something unique for yourself. So I grew up around a lot of this.
So, your father is a tattoo artist, so therefore you're kind of that became a tattoo artist very naturally.
Yes, he never pushed me. He never said, "Oh, I have to do this." He wanted me to go, my own way. So my early adult life, I did many jobs. It's like many people in their 20s will often find themselves doing strange jobs. I worked in a fish market. I worked in a butcher department. Eventually a bank. And eventually I realized I wanted to do something more creative. And I was offered an apprenticeship with an old family friend in Honolulu. So I moved from California to Honolulu to learn how to tattoo. So 6 years in Hawaii. And that at that time in my life, I was in my mid-20s. Soft vinyl and such were more of a childhood thing for me, but while I was in Hawaii, I learned, to reappreciate soft vinyl toys again, because there's a lot of soft vinyl culture in Hawaii. Kikaider was a big hero there, Kamen Rider, Ultraman. So there's a lot of older toys that I could find and such, and I started collecting again from that point.
I see. So, when you had the first tattoo?
I was 18.
18.
Yeah, from 1984. My father asked me what I wanted for my birthday, and I said, a tattoo. He always told me when I was younger, you have to wait until you're 18. So 18 years old and my first tattoo. And it was a while before I got my second one. But eventually I started, collecting more and more. When I first started learning how to tattoo, I had 2 on my wrist, 1 on my back, a couple on my legs, but my arms were very bare. And 27 years later, of collecting, I'm very covered. I still have space, but
So your father learned some Japanese style tattoo in Japan. So what's the difference between the tattoo in the Japanese style and the American style?
Mostly there's motif, of course, because there's a lot of Japanese styles of tattoos are based on Japanese mythology, Japanese Buddhism. And popular stories like the Water Margin with 108 heroes of the Suikoden. So there's definite motifs from that, and also design works. Many Japanese tattoos are very private, so they're all designed in a sense that you can wear clothes and maybe have your collar open a little bit, roll up your sleeve, and nothing shows. American tattoos are very piece by piece. They usually were like little significant things that happen in your life. You get a small design. You're on a trip. You find something you like. You get a small design. So it's many piecemeal like so. Yeah, it's a different form. They're both a big commitment, but in a different form.
I see. So, I think but tattoo is, especially in Japan, tattoo. Maybe Japanese people like behavior or attitude toward tattoo is different from the U.S. or any other countries.
Yes.
Because maybe if I translate tattoo in Japanese, it should be irezumi or horimono. And the irezumi should be like 18th century, a long time ago, Edo period, like a mark of the prisoner.
Yeah.
So, person who went to prison had the mark.
Yes.
And also, horimono is a more artistic drawing.
Yes.
But still many people have that kind of, tattoo in Japan, mostly Yakuza or that kind of, mostly that's kind of people. So
this is what is perception, but there's also many of those great traditions, because it is a great artistic tradition that goes back to ukiyo-e, woodblock prints and such. And many of those designs came from mythology and such. So it was mostly an image not just of Yakuza, but mostly it was images of a very working class people. Traditionally, Japanese firemen, many construction workers, trade workers and such would get these images, and it was underground because it's not really seen as the norm here.
Also, especially in Japan, young people a little bit has been different, changing like attitude toward the tattoo. Maybe because of many American people or other Asian countries, because I went to Hong Kong and toy event, Hong Kong and Taipei. So many people having tattoo, much more than Japanese, Hong Kong, Taiwan. So many, so heavy fans, many.
Yes, many. It's over the past, and it was the early or mid 1990s that I know in Japan, one of the first shop style tattoo shops opened up, where beforehand it was like you had to know someone who knew the artist, you would be introduced, and it was like mansion tattoo, you'd have to go to their private studio. But one of the first shops opened up in the 90s and tried to push the idea of you can get something different, and be more out there. 80s and 90s started to become very big in the world of tattoo for customization and everything. So my father's ideas of pushing get something unique to yourself became more of the norm, and it started exploding. And now tattoos worldwide are very very popular worldwide, and styles are limitless now.
I see. So could you tell me about your desire, about as a tattoo artist from now you like to do with your career?
It's very interesting. I would like to do, I'm more interested in doing tattoos. I mean, I would like to do tattoos of more things like kaiju and things like this. A friend of mine, tattoo artist here in Tokyo, Horizaru, he and I traded tattoos of Balton Seijin. We each did one tattoo of a Balton in each other. And since I enjoy cats so much, some people follow my Instagrams. One of my tattoo Instagram, I put my cats a lot. So people are knowing that I want to do cat tattoos. Recently I did 2 sisters. They each wanted their own cat as kind of a fantasy character. So one sister I did a fantasy warrior, like Conan style. The other sister, she got her cat as a sorceress. So those are images I'd like to continue to do.
I see. So maybe I think the tattoo will be the new market for the licensors. Let's production Toho, Godzilla, and Ultraman apply and get approval of the design.
There's many people who get works as fans. I know of my teacher. He did a large Japanese traditional style bodysuit tattoo, but it was all Godzilla kaiju. Godzilla on the back, King Ghidorah, Mothra, and so on. And I know many tattoo artists who are many tattoo fans who are also kaiju fans. I've seen some tattoos. I've seen a Matango tattoo. I've seen Ultraman and things like that. So it's mostly, I don't know if in America it's like if someone wants a Mickey Mouse tattoo, they don't get a license. It's almost like Kamike market here. You know, people produce fan manga of traditional characters, but they aren't necessarily licensed because it's a very small production. It's just a fan thing. So it's same thing. It's called, in America, it's called fair use. So if someone wants a Star Trek tattoo, they just get their Star Trek tattoo. It's not mass production. So it's not really a licensed thing. So it's just more of like a fan showing their appreciation for something they like.
I see. So I'm sorry, I'm ignorant about tattoo, but I like to ask. My image of my feeling of the tattoo is like kind of having tattoo means very painful. So compared to like 20, 30 years ago, the big difference of pain.
Unfortunately there's no difference.
New technology or
machines have changed very slightly, but it's still taking groupings of needle, pushing pigment in the skin, so it will always be a bit painful. You have to tattoos are something you have to, in a way, I say you have to earn, because if you're going to do this, you're going to have to relax and sit and get this done, and it hurts while you get it, but afterwards you have good results. Just like in any other hard work, in a way, it's very difficult, but at the end you have something that you like, So there's better colors now, and there's better techniques artistically, I think, but overall it's still a process that is not the most enjoyable thing.
I see. Okay. So nextly, I like to ask, from now on, Sokobi, back to talk about Sokobi. So from now on, do you have any other new planning of the Sokobi?
Just the characters I would like to continue of this line. Hopefully there's Majo Nekoruru, who I already have, but I would also like to do Dexter, Rocket, my other animals. Eventually, maybe I would like to do a kaiju. I think that MARUSAN toy and Bullmark, what appeals me still to those style of figures is because they're not scary. They're more to make a child smile and everything. And although now in our community it's really art toys and we have to make them for adult collectors, I still want to have, when you see a Lulu toy or something, I still want to have a childlike feeling in your heart when you see it. So if I continue anything, I just want to continue to have that good feeling in people's hearts when they see it.
I see. So you like to keep doing the producing Sokobi, and also your main career tattoo.
Yes, 27 years tattooing, and I hope for many more years to come.
Oh, I see. Okay. So finally, I like to ask you your impression of this.
うわーすごいびっくり Good style Great Super びっくり Okay Maybe you'll be in the next Ryo no Gakuto game. It's like Cool New image for MARUSAN toy. Maybe next Buska with tattoos.
too many masks.
Yes, yes. Very expensive.
Very expensive.
Great.
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much,
today.
Mr. Kaminaga.
It's nice to talking.
Thank you so much. And
Thanks so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Okay, thank you very much. That's all for today. Thank you very much. See you next time.
じゃあね。